are rolling a shootout and blues travelers. That's how the GOP rolls during its convention in Tampa this week. I'm Wendy Bounds. Welcome to WSJ Lunch Break. We're going to Jerry Seib. He is in Tampa covering the convention for us. He's going to tell us all about the Republicans' party plans. Jerry, I don't know. You've got your choice of the litter here of what to do with your evening. What's your favorite so far?
Well, you know, I'm pretty much sold on Night Ranger myself, but, you know, I've been going to Republican conventions long enough that I remember when the only entertainment seemed to be Lee Greenwood. It's a lot more diverse this year. They're breaking out of country and gospel and getting into actual real rock and roll, and so it's a different kind of feel, and they want you to know not only Democrats party, Republicans do too.
Now, some of the bands that'll be playing are the Commodores, Blues Traveler, Big Head Todd, and the Monsters' Journey. Usually they've sort of stuck with the gospel country fare. What do you think this says about the GOP's attempt to kind of go for a younger crowd, the people they hope maybe Paul Ryan as a VP nominee is going to tap into?
Yeah. Well, the reality is there's a kind of a younger generation of Republican conservatives who are slowly taking over the party. If you look at not Mitt Romney so much, but the people who may come 4 years from now and be contenders for the nomination, you have a really interesting and diverse group of young Republican leaders. You know, you've got your Chris Christie, by the way, who is one of the world's biggest Bruce Springsteen fan. He's going to be talking tonight. Paul Ryan, you've mentioned, people like that. There's an interesting new generation of Republican leaders, and you've got a young guns kind of group in the House with even younger aides who have taken on a bigger space within the Republican Party. And, to talk about the bands that are here may sound trivial, but it is kind of an indication of where the party is going. And there is a generational shift underway to what I guess you can think of as the Paul Ryan generation.
It's also, in addition to just sort of the bands, it looks like a lot of the sort of policy think tanks and associations out there, they hold their own kind of themed party. You're seeing the National Rifle Association, they are having a shootout for charity, and this will come after a day of sort of wonky talks. What else are you seeing out there, Jerry, that looks promising?
Yeah. Well, there's a kind of a standard state delegation party circuit and a trade and interest group party circuit, and they all sort of come to life immediately after the convention was ended. It was stunted, obviously, yesterday because there was no convention. There was Monday, there was the hurricane or the fear of a hurricane, more fear than reality, as it turned out, but no nighttime festivities. So everybody kind of looked around and said, what do we do tonight? Well, tonight we're back to kind of normal, which is you go through the convention proceedings. It ends at 11, so that's all it fits in primetime TV. And then everybody figures they got a couple hours to have some fun. And so what happens is people stream out of the convention and head for places like the cigar bar party that's been set up by somebody, or as you say, the NRA kind of a party, or the Wisconsin Brats and Brews party. There's a sense that people come to a convention, they want to be wonky up until 11 p.m. and then they want to do something else a little more fun for a couple hours afterwards.
So you've been covering this for a long time, politics in general. You've seen a lot of these conventions. I wonder, Jerry, particularly after everybody's been sort of cooped up over the last day because of the storm, is there ever a chance that the politicians and the people attending can get themselves into trouble if they party just a little too hard?
It's been known to happen, and I would guess pent-up energy at a convention is probably a really bad thing. But but the worry tends to be more that the demonstrators will create problems than the conventioneers will create problems. And I have to say a lot of Republican delegates are probably not the hard partying type you have to worry about too much. I think the bigger concern is that everybody's a little too blurry-eyed tomorrow morning, the day after. But that's a time-honored convention concern.
We've been looking right now at some video taken today of setting up and sound checks for some of the bands taken by our new WSJ World Stream live video. Jerry, you personally, what are you attending?
I'm working 24/7. I don't know why you're asking me that. So I haven't figured that out yet. There are a couple of dinners we're going to go to tonight. But it's interesting. I was in the hall earlier, and there's actually some pretty good music that's going to be in the hall, not just at the parties afterward. They've worked in some bands into the schedule, and so there's going to be some fairly decent music during the course of the afternoon and the evening. So you don't have to go too far away to hear decent music at a national convention, as it turns out.
So big names speaking tonight: Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney's wife, of course, Chris Chris Christie, the New Jersey governor, slated to be up. That should be a big one tonight. We're looking at their mug shots right there. I don't mean mug shots in a bad way. I just mean their mugs. And so let me ask you this, Jerry. In terms of Mitt Romney and Ann Romney attending any of the events, do you have a sense of which ones they'll be going to? Mitt Romney, he doesn't drink. I can't see him doing a lot of hard partying at some of these functions.
Well, I think when you're the nominee to be, you don't have to go anywhere. People come to you. And what he's really doing is coming in today so that he can watch his wife give the speech tonight. And then he was not originally planning to be here until Thursday, so I don't know that he's got a lot on his schedule and don't actually know if he's going to stick around for the next 2 days or go find something else to do Wednesday. He actually gets nominated officially today. There'll be the roll call, which used to be a big deal and now is a pro forma exercise this afternoon, not even in prime time. So he'll be the nominee as of this evening, but he doesn't actually give his big speech until Thursday night. So I don't know if he's going to hang around or whether he's going to move out of the way and let the spotlight go onto the Chris Christies and Ann Romneys, who were supposed to be the headliners tonight. You know, it's a strange night because they've taken the Ann Romney night and the Chris Christie night and they've mashed them together into one. A little bit of a mixed message there because Ann Romney was supposed to be the Monday night speaker who was going to say Republicans can do better among women. I'm going to tell you why women should love Republicans. And Chris Christie's the guy who speaks to the sort of the white working class Bruce Springsteen fan kind of voter. And so those two messages have crossed tonight, and they're going to go back to back in the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. But it's, you know, for the good news for the Republicans is that gives them a lot of star power on stage during the prime time when networks are actually covering this thing. All
right, Jerry Seib, you be careful now. We do have this new World Stream Live video, so if you're out there, you know, partying it up too hard, we're going to catch you. Thanks so much for being with us.